G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft as we welcome you back to game number 3 in the winners bracket of Group B from MLG's Game On. The bottom central location of Polar Night is going to be Root State as our purple Protoss, as our red Zerg, and the top central location is EG's Suppy. Now, this has been a fantastic Protoss versus Zerg series. We are in game 3, both these players have taken a match each and in fantastic style. We had State execute a fantastic timing attack in game number 1, tried to replicate his successes in game number 2, but Suppy using some surprise burrow tech to get a decisive engagement and rip control of this series away from State is now 1-1 going into game number 3. And we've got quite a series on our hands, so hope you guys have buckled up for some great Protoss versus Zerg action, and we're super excited to see who comes out of this ahead. Of course, we have our winners bracket being State versus Suppy. Our losers bracket is Noni versus Neeb, so for some reason it's a little bit all our players have very similar names thus far. So we have Suppy and State, Noni and Neeb. So it's the S's and the N's going toe to toe. State going to actually mix things up in game number 3. We've seen some rather greedy openings with Nexus first on the previous 2 matches, but this time going for some very quick double gas and a gateway. So before the Nexus, so it looks like State's going to change his build up considerably. Suppy on the other hand going straight for the hatch, fearlessly throwing down his first expansion, actually moving out with another worker. I'd be surprised if this was for a 3rd hatchery, but Suppy's the man with the moves, always has some surprise shenanigans in store for us. Actually got his spawning pool and extractor coming down now, so it looks like we'll be seeing Zergling speed quite quickly. Cybercore also on the way for State, and this gas being not actually being mined from the 2nd assembler. Can't help but feel that's a little bit of a mistake given how quickly that was taken, but hopefully State will rectify that quite quickly. And it does look like he's going to be chronobussing a few workers into that, so State looking to open with a fairly gas heavy opening. I'm very curious if this is for some sort of Stargate player, or if it's in fact for some sort of Templar tech, Dark or High Templar, more likely to be Dark Templar than High Templar, or whether it is for something else altogether, some sort of Blink Stalker play, or it could be any number of things on Polar Night. Polar Night, a great map for exploiting these large central base locations, things like flying units and Blink Stalkers, very effective on this map. So we'll see what our Protoss player has in store for us. State grabbing that natural expansion now. So Overlord going to be scouting out, but fortunately for State hasn't thrown down any tech as of yet. So a slightly redundant scout here for Suppy. It looks like Suppy will try to recover and keep this Overlord alive. Mothership Core is out to defend now. It looks like Suppy very content to macro up here. His Queen's injecting lava and just producing drones, so it looks like he's fairly confidently moving into more of a macro game this game. We have State actually throwing down a pair of gateways and a forge to wall off the bottom location. Obviously a little bit worried about any potential Zergling assaults. It doesn't want to lose this natural expansion prematurely. Well, it doesn't want to lose it at all, let alone prematurely. Have these gateways almost finishing up. Warp gate almost halfway done here on the Cybercore, and Sentry to conclude the wall off. Looks like Suppy is going to be grabbing his 3rd base quite quickly. Saturation starting to come into effect here on the natural. If we check out the income tab, it's 31 to 28, so obviously State is going to be chrono boosting a few works, trying to keep up with Suppy as best he can, but these injects are going to really start to tilt that worker favour towards Suppy in the very near future. It looks like Suppy's going to elect to grab his gas now. It's 3rd one going down here at the natural expansion, and natural expansion almost completely saturated now. Another big wave of 7 drones on the way. A robo facility coming up from State, so in spite of the early gas, not a massive deviation for State. It is going to be 3-gate robo, +1 attack is already on the way, so nice timing of the upgrades there. Mothership Core is going to allow these sentries to start focus firing this Overlord down. Real question is, can it get out of range of the sentries before they can clean up? It is going to be so close to the that Overlord makes it out with 12 health, and he is thinking just whew. You can see the look of sheer joy on his face. I imagine if an Overlord's smiling, that's what it might look like just there. So he's very happy he made it out. State not going to try and clean that Overlord up, so it looks like he'll live to fight another day, or scout another day, as the case may be. Second low health Overlord here, so a little bit of a shame that State's not trying to clean this up. It would actually supply blocks up here at the moment. A few more on the way, I guess, would replace them, but there's plenty of Overlords and side out on the map for Suppy, so State has to be very careful moving out quite quickly. Warp Prism is going to be on the way to allow us to reinforce quite quickly, but there's still only three gateways in place. There's not a lot of pressure that Suppy can put, that State can put on Suppy. This got to be very careful. Even this small force of Roaches and Zerglings starting to become a very viable threat to this Protoss force. If this Protoss force goes down, it will be horrible news for State. It looks like State may decide it's time to pull back here. Got the first Immortal now on the way, and actually going for the blink research on the Twilight Council there. A few more pylons as well to round things out, and we actually do have the Dark Shrine tucked away here at the natural. Looks like Suppy's going to be trying to sneak a few State's going to be trying to sneak a few Ninja DTs around, see if he can do a little bit of surprise damage on these extra bases. They are quite spread out. No actual detection as of yet on the field for Suppy. And this Dark Templar play could give him the edge he needs. Though I imagine that Suppy with that flyover has in fact spotted the Dark Shrine. If we check out Suppy's vision, no, the Overseer unfortunately unable to see the Dark Shrine. So Suppy could well be caught by complete surprise. A few more gateways just finishing up now. Plenty of gas for these Dark Templar now if they so desire to warp in. We actually have 3 on the way here. Will these allow State to take out this third base of Suppy? Massive Zerg force trying to rove between these 3 bases. Where is that Warp Prism? That Warp Prism could potentially... Oh, and here it is up in the main, so nice time. We have Dark Templars tearing down this third hatchery. No sight. Overseer going to arrive, but just in time to see the hatchery go down. Suppy actually surrounding these Dark Templars as best he can. We have more in the main base, though those units getting taken out quite quickly, and the Warp Prism falling back. So if we check out the workers killed, no workers killed, but was a hatchery that was sniped there by those Dark Templars, so it's going to set Suppy back quite a while on his mining, and certainly going to favour State, as Protoss on 2 base versus Zerg 2 base tend to be quite the favourable position for Protoss. They love to be on equal or more bases than their opponent. I guess that could well be said of any race, but particularly Protoss do trade very cost effectively against the other races. We do have a Spire on the way for Suppy, and I think that's a nice choice there. We haven't actually seen Suppy make it to Spire thus far in the series, probably because of how quickly these games have been. Game 1 and 2 both ending in the early to mid game stages. We have Suppy actually going to be harassing here with this Zergling Roach Hydra force, going to be taking out that pylon, and this is a very sizable force. Got perhaps a 30 supply lead, but these Immortals very deceptive. Don't take up a lot of supply, but do pack one heck of a punch in combat. So a decided tech advantage to Suppy. We'll see if he can make it happen here. Sorry, tech advantage to State. Why do I keep calling State Suppy? I know better, but still seem to keep saying these Hydras in a position to snipe the Warp Prism. Warp Prism going to be falling back there. It would have been a nice pickup. Certainly would have slowed State down if he had in fact lost that. We actually have High Templar tech coming up behind this, so no Colossi on the field, but looks like State's going to elect to use High Templar to deal with the ever-increasing Hydralisk count. A few Zerglings going to be picked off by the Stalkers there. That's just going to allow Suppy to build a few more versatile units. We have 22 Zerglings now on the field, so a massive swell of Zerglings here. Mutalisk on the way, ready, well, the gas for Mutalisk on the way. a potentially very large tech switch will follow this up. So obviously Suppy going to be looking to try and catch these stalkers. If these stalkers fall, will leave State very vulnerable to a Mutalist tech switch. We have 8 Mutas coming up behind us along with the flyer attacks level 1, so certainly these Mutalists are going to be in a great position to harass. We have no static defense in the main base, none at the third base. We have a solitary cannon here defending one side of State's expansion, and this fourth base also very vulnerable. So we'll see just how much damage these Mutalists can do, and I have the feeling that it's actually going to be substantial. Massive Zerg force here, almost capped on the supply. But these Mutalisks just moving straight around the edges is going to be in a great position to harass. We actually have the Zerg. We could be seeing a base race here. The State just barrels straight into the third base of Suppy. Suppy going to be pulling his drones as quickly as possible, and actually just barreling straight into the fourth base. Fourth base will go down here. A few Zerglings going to be more than enough to take that down. These Stalker reinforcements getting picked off along with a High Templar, which is certainly a nice catch. Zerglings and Mutalists going to be destroying the front door of State's base, and this is going to be critical damage. A big mass recall from the Mothership Core is going to bring the Protoss army back down to do some damage, but it looks like State will have lost one expansion, perhaps a second one here, as the Roaches continue to focus fire down this Nexus. The Blinkstalkers, the Mutalists doing a lot of damage as well. Hydralisk trying to break down this wall, but fortunately for State, he did establish that very solidly. Pawns and Gateway is going to be enough to hold the line there, but these Zerg forces continuing to force their way through the main door. Natural expansion going to go down again. Suppy just in a very threatening position with these Mutalists, could potentially take out the Immortals, which would be a great pickup, but instead electing to try and take out some of the probes here. There aren't very many Stalkers here, so Suppy in a great state here. He's going to be able to, excuse the pun, going to be in a great position to take out these Stalkers, and the Stalker count very low, so the anti-air for State is limited to these 8 Stalkers here, whereas if we check out the unit count, we are up to 20 Mutalists, so State is in serious straits here. He's going to be be forced to try and take out these Mutalists when he's outnumbered 2 to 1. If these Stalkers go down, it will be GG for State. An Archon here is going to be precisely what State needs to try and keep this army alive. Looks like Suppy's going to be focusing down the Nexus, so we'll have State down to 1 base and things looking very good for EG Suppy as we progress in this round 3, in this game 3. Suppy has fought his way into a very dominant position, still mining on 3 bases and picking off these Stalkers very quickly. Archon doing a lot of splash damage there with every shot. It looks like the Mutalists will be able to focus down that Archon. The Stalker is going down, things looking worse and worse for State every moment as more and more Mutalisks flood into the game, and that's going to be it for Root State as he taps out of game number 3. So Suppy takes the series in fantastic form, 2-1. He'll progress into the round of 8. State will have an opportunity to verse the winner of the losers bracket and potentially take that second spot in the round of 8, but still has a long road ahead of him if he hopes to make it there. Suppy, on the other hand, going to be progressing. We'll see him again in the round of 8, and we're looking forward to some fantastic matches. This has been a great start to day number 2 of MLG's Game On. We have some more best of 3 series coming up right after this, so don't go anywhere, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We have some fantastic Heart of the Swarm action to kick off your 2014, so hope you're enjoying it. Let us know in the comments down below what your favourite part of this series was, and we will see you all in our next cast. Thanks, guys.